Hi guys and welcome back to another video. Now today what I'm going to be bringing you is my reaction to the 2021-22 Bradford City return list. Now if you do go on to enjoy today's video, a like as always will be massively appreciated. If you could try and hit 60 likes on today's video, that'd be absolutely class. Make sure as well you are subscribed to the channel. We are trying to hit 6,000 subscribers as soon as possible, so make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already. Now this actually did get released at 5 o'clock today. Apologies for the late upload. I don't usually upload on Fridays because I have 5 aside, so just as I was getting on the bus to go to Leeds, that's when I saw the tweet got put out, and I wanted to react to the return list this season live and give you guys my first thoughts. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm not going to be able to film for at least another 4.5 hours. I had to have a look. So today we're going to be looking at the club statement, seeing which players have been offered a new contract, which players have been released. We'll talk about every single player, and even we've got some players that are under contract for next season, which for me personally need to be put on the transfer list. We've not done a section where players have been made available for transfer, so we'll talk about that as well. But make sure you drop a like on today's video, subscribe if you are new as well, and let's get into it. So Bradford City tweeted today at 5 o'clock saying, breaking news, 6 players will leave Bradford City next month upon the expiry of their contracts. The following players have been offered new terms with the club: Charles Vernam, Charlie Wood, Elliot Watt, Levi Sutton, Luke Hendry, Matty Folds and Paudie O'Connor. The following players have not been offered new contracts ahead of the 2022-23 season and will be released: Callum Cook, Keelan Lavery, Gareth Evans, Oliver Sukienike, Richard O'Donnell, Theo Robinson, and the following players are under contract for the 2022-23 campaign: Abo Issa, Alex Gilead, Andy Cook, Fika Kelleher, Finn Cousin-Dawson, Kean Skills, Liam Rydalge, Oscar Threlkeld, Reece Staunton and Sam Hornby and Jan Songo. Lee Angle and Jamie Walker are under contract, having previously penned respective initial 1- and 2-year deals with the club. Sam Hornby has obviously returned from his loan spell at Colchester and remains under contract for the next season. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Will he be our number one? Don't think he'll be happy to sit on the bench for next season, so we'll speak a little bit about him later on in today's video. Meanwhile, loanees Alex Bass, Dion Pereira, Matty Daly, remember him, Nathan D'Alfonso and Tom Elliott have returned to their respective parent clubs Portsmouth, Luton, Huddersfield, Bolton and Salford following the expiry of short-term agreements. Obviously only really Pereira worked out of all them. Bass did alright at times, and obviously Jamie Walker has been made a permanent transfer as well. The club would like to take this opportunity to thank all the released players for their efforts while at Bradford City AFC and wish them the very best for the future. So if we go back up then to the players who have been offered new terms, obviously I did do my return list a couple of weeks ago, so it'll be interesting to see how they compare. Overall, I'll get my initial thoughts in now. I'm not sat here going, why is he being offered a new contract? That is an absolute disgrace. Or why is he not being offered a new contract? That's an absolute disgrace. I feel like I can understand why X player's been offered the contract or why Y player hasn't been offered a contract. But we'll start off with Charles Vernam. For me, a no-brainer. He's currently actually on holiday, I do think, in Portugal. So don't expect him to sign anything anytime soon. He has been linked with Lincoln. He was linked before they got their new manager in. Now, I can't say I've heard of, to be honest. But someone, a Grimsby fan, did point something out to me that because he's played for Grimsby, maybe that might play a little bit in his mind of why he wouldn't want to go to Lincoln. Hopefully Charles Vernam does stay. Next up then, Charlie Wood signed a pro contract last summer with the football club. I don't think he's made one appearance at all, not even in the Papa John's Trophy, I don't believe, yet for the club. Or he didn't in the season just gone by. He's been offered a new contract. It'll be interesting to see what's happened there. He has obviously played quite a lot for the under-19s this season, being a key part of their success. I think we won I can't remember what the specific was, but we won some sort of title, so fair play to them for that. Hopefully we get to see him a little bit more in the upcoming season. Elliot Watt was pretty much a no-brainer for me. Under Mark Hughes, I think he's been absolutely fantastic, so I'm glad to see he has been offered a new term. Again, he's been away on holiday the past couple of days. I think he comes home today or tomorrow. I'm not too sure, so hopefully something does get agreed with him in the next coming days or week, and he does put pen to paper on a new contract. The next couple are interesting for me. Levi Sutton, I didn't expect Sutton to get a new contract, to be honest with you, or at least be offered a new contract. He's not played all too much under Mark Hughes, and with the style of play that we have been playing, he isn't the most technically gifted player. He's more of a grafter, and we've seen that with Levi Sutton. He absolutely works himself into the ground. So for me personally, I'm buzzing Sutton's been offered a new contract. Hopefully he does stay, but that might be something that does consider his lack of game time under Mark Hughes. He might want to be starting every game, and he might feel like he can get that at another club, which I think, no, there wouldn't be many clubs that had turned down Levi Sutton, to be honest with you. His work rate is absolutely fantastic. Luke Hendry was a very interesting one for me. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a decent backup player, and, you know, going into next season, if we didn't have Threlkeld, Cousin-Dawson, and even Harvey Rowe coming through, I would have absolutely no problem with Luke Hendry staying. I'm 99% sure Oscar Threlkeld will not be at the football club next season. I think he'll either be mutually terminated or he'll be made available for transfer, and I don't expect us to get any sort of transfer fee for him. Hopefully, Derek Adams takes him at Morecambe. But Hendry, for me, it's an interesting one. I would have liked to keep him as a backup. You know, he's obviously a City fan, and he won't exactly be season-defining in terms of his wages. But when you've already got 3 other right-backs contracted, it is definitely interesting. Maybe we'll see Harvey Rowe stay with the under-19s. Obviously, nothing's got said about him in this statement. He was meant to have a pro contract coming into play this season, and he's not being mentioned in this statement, so I don't really know what's gone on there. But for me personally, don't have any complaints with Hendry being offered a new contract, just more the fact we've already got 3 other right backs already coming through, so it doesn't really make all much 2 cents for me. Matty Folds next. I mean, yeah, again, as a backup, will probably be cheap. Obviously, Bradford City fan, so it does kind of make sense from that point of view. Don't think he's been great, to be honest with you, under Mark Hughes. He does look very nervous on the ball. He does remind me a little bit of like a deer when he's playing football, with all due respect, because, you know, quite clearly he's a much better footballer than me, but I'd much rather Liam Ridehalgh be the starting left back. I've seen fans on Twitter saying that Folds is better than Ridehalgh. For me personally, I think Ryder is the better of the two, but as a backup, I have absolutely no complaints with Matty Folds being offered a new contract. And finally, Paudie O'Connor has obviously been linked with Sheffield Wednesday, Portsmouth as well, so hopefully he does sign the contract. I think he definitely will get offered more money in a higher league, and if you're a footballer, you know, it's a short career. It's an absolute no-brainer. For me personally, though, the captain, my captain, and hopefully he does sign on, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Moving on to the players then who have not been offered new contracts. For me, there's only one that you could potentially debate. Callum Cook is who we'll start off with then, and it is definitely an interesting one that's definitely caused divide amongst the fan base, being linked with teams like Hartlepool at the moment as well. I personally think he could definitely get a club at League One level, to be honest with you. You're telling me someone like a Fleetwood or a Burton wouldn't take a Callum Cook? Granted, he's not the quickest, granted he doesn't score loads of goals, but if Mark Hughes has seen it as we either get Jamie Walker or we get Callum Cook. I know I did a video the other day saying why we need to keep Callum Cook at all costs, but it's not the end of the world. He's probably one of the higher earners at the club. You know, I thank him for all his efforts. He's been fantastic and he's been one of my favourite players, but unfortunately hasn't been offered a new contract, and I don't think it's the end of the world, to be honest with you. Next up, Keelan Lavery. The remaining players on this list I have absolutely no complaints about. I know I said in my video I would keep him. If you look at it like that, you're thinking, well, why are you not annoyed that he hasn't been offered a new contract? I only said I'd keep him as like a 5th choice, absolute last resort striker, and I think he is probably good enough to get another League 2 club, someone like a Barrow, or maybe he might even drop into the National League and go to someone like an Oldham. I think there is definitely a player in Keelan Lavery, but if we want to be challenging for the title next season, I don't think you can be carrying players like that. Gareth Evans, again, didn't really have too much of an opportunity under Derek Adams. You know, was kind of frozen out of the squad. Came back in for a couple of games under Mark Hughes. Did all right, but yeah, just not enough, and will definitely be one of the higher earners at the football club, so it's nice to get him off the wage bill, but I wish him all the best. Oliver Suki-Enike, a player who I don't think we saw in first team action, or definitely not in the league, so I can't really comment all too much on it. Apparently he's been having trials with Hull as well recently, but I haven't seen him play, so I can't really comment, so I just wish him all the best. Richard O'Donnell is probably the saddest one on this list, you know, a club legend, and apparently they only found out, him and his wife only found out about O'Donnell leaving the club via Twitter, which, if that is true, and obviously it isn't, if I don't know the ins and outs of the situation, that is disgusting, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's just an O'Donnell thing or it's been the same for any other players, because there's only really been Gareth Evans and Richard O'Donnell come out and say something on social media. None of the other players have said anything, unless I've missed it. At the time of recording, it is 9:30 in the evening as well. But me personally, O'Donnell has been a fantastic servant to the club. I think it was about time that we did move on, though. You know, he has been on the bench ever since Mark Hughes came in, and even a little bit under Derek Adams. He's not had an opportunity at all under Mark Hughes. So from the bottom of my heart, O'Donnell, thank you very much for your services. You know, it hasn't been the greatest in, you know, the past couple of years, but someone like an O'Donnell, he is a role model, he's an ambassador on and off the pitch. He's, you know, fantastic with all the fans, and I do wish him all the best. I think he will probably be good enough to get another club at League 2 level. And finally, Theo Robinson, a panic deadline day signing from Derek Adams. Scored a couple goals in that November-December period, but apart from that, just simply has not done enough. You know, he obviously won goal of the season for the football club, so fair play to him for that, but just for me, not good enough. enough, and you can see why Port Vale unregistered him to register Curtis Guthrie, and we all know how bad Curtis Guthrie was. So again, I wish him all the best, but one that just simply didn't work out. In terms of the players who are under contract for 22-23, Aboisa, we've got to keep him. Alex Gilead, I think, as a central midfielder, has something to offer. Andy Cook is a player that I personally keep. I think he definitely has got goals in him. We saw when he is fully fit, and before I think it was a hernia injury. I can't remember exactly what the injury was, but that injury where he was out for 2 or 3 months or something. Since then, he's not been the greatest. He scored a nice goal away at Sutton, but I think Andy Cook definitely does give you something different. Fika Kelleher, for me, I personally keep him. Not a bad backup at all, to be honest with you. We only have him as a contracted natural centre-half going into next season. Okay, you can class Reece Staunton, but he needs to develop a little bit more before he's into the first team. Kelleher, I think, provides some decent cover. Finkles and Dawson up next. I think he needs to go out on loan. Jamie Walker, obviously I did a video on him signing the other day, so go check that out if you haven't already. Kean Scales into the final year of his contract now. Didn't really play all too much. I think he played a handful of appearances in the league, to be honest with you, in the season just gone by. So he really needs to maybe go out on loan to a National League club for the first half of the season. Then when he comes back, because when he plays, he does do a lot of hard work. He does remind me a little bit of Levi Sutton. So maybe he gets an opportunity next season. Lee Angle obviously signed a new contract a couple of weeks ago, so go check out my video on him. Liam Ridehouse, for me, he's one that we've got to keep. I think he's been pretty decent under Mike Hughes. Going forward, some of the crosses he puts into the box, they are very deadly. We saw how many times did we see at the early parts of the season when Ridehouse just hang a ball up to the back post. Andy Cook would very, very frequently win them headers, just sometimes unable to convert. Oscar Threlkeld is a player I think we should make available for transfer, just simply not good enough. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time talking about Threlkeld, but absolutely no. I don't want to see him anywhere near the team next season. He needs to be moved on. Reece Staunton, again, I think he's got 2 years left on his contract now. For me personally, again, another player that I'd send out on loan. Just not really developing all too much. Played quite a lot in the previous season under Stuart McCall, but this season I don't think he's played a single minute of league football. He's been on the bench every now and again, but just not developing, to be honest with you. Sam Hornby is the penultimate player. It feels like an absolute age since I've seen Sam Hornby in a Bradford City shirt. He's done okay at Colchester, and they might go in for him on a permanent basis, but when they've got, I think is it Shamal George? I think he's one of the better keepers in the league, to be honest, so I'm not too sure what will go on there. But obviously Hornby, he has now come back from his loan spell. He's had multiple loan spells away with the football club. I remember in his first season that he signed, he went out on loan to Fylde. Obviously this season just gone by, went out on loan to Colchester. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Sam Hornby. I don't think he'll be happy just to sit on the bench for the rest of next season. So I think we might need 2 keepers going into next season. And finally, Jan Songo, the brick wall, needs a new contract because he's unbelievable, and we cannot let that man leave the club on a free transfer next summer. But that is where I'm going to leave it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, a like as always will be massively appreciated. If you could try and hit 60 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that'd be absolutely class. Make sure as well to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are now on the road to 6,000 subscribers. And finally, get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Are you happy with the retain list? What would you have changed about the actual retain list that has finally come out? We're all expected it to come out, earlier on in the week, but unfortunately it has been released Friday, 5 o'clock. So apologies for the late upload once again, but thank you very much for watching today's video. Hope you have enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day, and I shall see you all tomorrow for a match day vlog. Peace.